Greetings, salutations, and welcome to SportsLook, the sports television program for the High Plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and the presidential election is over. The World Series is over, but we're far from over. We're just going to keep rolling right along. We've got a great episode tonight. We've got two players from Greyhound Baseball. We've got two players from women's soccer. I'll finish up with an overtime, but as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. 2 up and 2 down last weekend for Eastern Athletics. Unfortunately, the Greyhound football team had an 11-point lead in the second half against Sul Ross. Couldn't hold that lead, and they do lose to the Lobos. For the Greyhound men's soccer team, playing nationally ranked Midwestern, managed to score a goal. Unfortunately, they gave up 2, so they do lose that contest. But congratulations to Greyhound volleyball. They got a 3-0 victory over Sul Ross State. And Greyhound women's soccer, they got a victory on senior night, 2-0 against University of Texas Permian Basin. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear this out and we'll bring in Jordan and Zach from Greyhound Baseball right now. Welcome back to Sports Look, and a privilege to bring to the set of Sports Look two guys from Greyhound Baseball. We've got Jordan Rodriguez, we have Zach Rachel, and guys, welcome to Sports Look.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us, Doc.
Well, Jordan, we'll start out with you. Where are you from, and what was the process that got you into the uniform of Eastern New Mexico?
So I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I was raised Catholic. I went to St. Pius, the 10th high school. And then after that, I went to Pima Community College, transferred to Dodge City Community College. And then short after that, I had a lot of awareness about Eastern New Mexico. I had a couple friends that I was aware that played on the team. And Coach Price had reached out to me a little bit after the season, just kind of in that stage where I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go. And his overall pitch was amazing to me, and I really liked the mission that he wanted for the guys and pushing them. And one of the biggest things that I wanted out of Eastern was that I could grow as a player individually and on the baseball field. And I think that was like one of the things that he really pushed for. And he told me that it's a big thing that they hold to accountable for their guys. And it drove me to want to be here and continue to have a culture that I could be the best with my friends and hopefully to win a lot of baseball games. And I know that's obviously the biggest thing too. And I think that really, really, really drove me to come into play here at Eastern. And I'm excited to see what we can do for this year, I would say.
All right, well, Zach, we'll ask you the same question. Where are you from, and what got you here?
I'm from Farmington, New Mexico. I was also born and raised Catholic. I originally went to Wayland Baptist University, which is an NAI in Plainview, Texas. And after having a year there, not really seeing the field a whole lot and just not enjoying my time there, I decided to decommit from there. And Coach Price was the only one that really saw something in me and was the only one that really wanted me to go play baseball for him. So I ended up going there. And after playing for him last year, I just love the grit that we all have as a team, and how I like the term he uses, blue collar. I love that. And I just love being around a bunch of people that just want to grind and just play the game as hard as possible.
Jordan, was baseball your only sport growing up, or did you play other sports and just gradually baseball became your best and favorite?
Yeah, actually, I grew up playing basketball for the longest time, and I honestly think that's what my dad wanted me to play. And then my mom pushed for baseball. It was kind of back and forth, and I even threw a little bit of golf in there too. So there were some other sports, and actually soccer, I take that back. There was a few sports, and they just wanted me to stay athletic. And then I want to say going into high school, kind of that time, I knew I was falling in love with the game. And I knew it was something that I could really see a future of me going to play college, getting college paid for, things like that, everything that you look for. And yeah, I think that was probably where I think I had always had a love for it, but then it stuck out quite a bit more than the other sports for me. So I would say that was the time around. Yeah.
And Zach will ask you the same question. Were there other sports in baseball that just became your favorite, or were you pretty much always a baseball guy?
I wasn't very good at any other sport besides baseball, so uh, I was pretty good at baseball, and that's whenever I just decided, I should probably just stick with baseball. Wasn't very good at kicking a soccer ball. Didn't like getting tackled, so I was just like, I'd rather just throw a baseball the rest of my life.
There you go. Jordan, you were telling me before we went on the air that you actually knew Zach before you got here,
Yes, sir.
that you guys had actually played some ball back in your high school days.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we do go ways back, I would say, and it's funny because I hadn't really gotten a chance to talk to him about it when I had initially made the decision to come here, but I know we grew up around each other, and there was a group of friends that really played together since we were. I mean, I can as long as I can remember, 10 years old. I mean, as young as we were, and when he found out that I was coming here, he was pretty excited, and I thought it was really cool to have somebody that I went way back with, and that I had, a long time of knowing them and his family. And he welcomed me with open arms here, so that's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Zach, you come from Farmington. For people who know the game of baseball, Farmington has always been a hotbed of baseball. And so, who were the people in Farmington that helped you become the baseball player you are?
First people I gotta mention are my parents. Couldn't be there without them. My dad, big influencer. He was always definitely the guy that pushed me the hardest. And I would say Kerry King, he was my head baseball coach at Farmington High. My lifting coach, Frank DeHoyas, he was awesome, great guy, great encouragement guy, both of them. Shea Colburn, I can name so many more, but they were just always the people that believed in me first. Yeah, they were the ones that really gave me a real shot in high school whenever I really didn't think I was going to play high school ball.
You may not know the answer to this question, but is Frank De Hoyos any relation to Gabe De Hoyos? Gabe De
That sounds
Hoyos is the guy
familiar.
from Eastern that's gotten the farthest in professional
That's what
baseball.
I thought. That's what I thought. I know Frank DeHoyas had some history here at Eastern New Mexico. I think he played baseball here at
Mm-hmm.
Eastern New Mexico too. But I couldn't tell you the answer to that. I really don't know.
That'd be
But it
way
sounds
cool.
familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Gabe was just a tremendously good pitcher. Came from
Hmm.
Artesia, so I'll have to do some. You'd think as a historian I would know these things, but I didn't. Jordan, talk a little bit about your position. What do you play?
So I'm an infielder. I like to prioritize middle infield. That's kind of just what I played in junior college, and I've had a little bit of variability and adjustability, or you could call me a utility if you want to be able to play multiple positions. I'm excited to see where I end up. I know that I'm gonna have a big role, and I hope to, flourish in that role and help the team as much as possible. But I'd say infield is definitely one of the hardest positions to play. I do feel like there's a lot of variability with ground balls, different things that people don't necessarily know because you just think it's catching a white baseball, and there's so much more to it, and I think that's the hardest part about it.
Well, Jordan, there should be less variability this year because, from what I understand, you guys are getting turf for the first time.
Yes, sir. We have been using the turf field, and it's amazing. Um, it's been a difference I've heard from the dirt because it can be a little less adjustable. Weather conditions can affect it. I mean, same thing with turf, but I think turf's a little more consistent. And even as an infielder, you kind of appreciate some of those things too. So.
Zach, let's talk a little bit about pitching. I mean, it'd be nice if you had a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a curveball that was a 12-6. But if you were realistically describing you, what do you think other teams, when they scout Eastern, what do you think they say about you as a pitcher?
I'd say one of the first things is you're not going to see a whole lot of walks. He's going to attack you. That's what I do. I don't like walking people. It's very frustrating to walk people. Um, I got 3 pitches I throw for a strike, and they're going to see all 3. And I'm just a challenger. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to throw you a fastball. And if you don't hit, then you don't hit it.
I like that attitude. I had that attitude, but my fastball wasn't fast enough to get by people, so I had to adjust. So, if you had to compare yourself to a pitcher, who are you like?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I throw hard enough to be some of the flamethrowers, but I would definitely say I have the movement and utility. I'd probably say the closest one is Greg Maddox, just because he had a wicked two-seam, and I have movement that just goes that way as well. But he definitely had a way better off-speed stuff than me, but yeah, I would say that's the closest person I can think of.
Well,
So-
and then obviously I saw Jordan smile because we found out he's an Atlanta Brave fan. So
Most definitely.
talking his language. So Jordan, we'll flip the question and let's talk about you. I mean, obviously as a middle infielder, you'd like to have a cannon arm. You'd like to be really quick. You'd like to have good, sure
Yes, sir.
hands. You'd like to be smart.
Yes, sir.
What's the scouting report on you?
I think the guys learning about this and me in the fall. I like to think that I can hit a great amount of pitches, and it's a little bit tougher to get me out. So I think if you can try, you're gonna have to try to mix it up pretty well on me because I mean, I feel like I have pretty good hands, good speed with those kinds of things, but also like I'm a really smart hitter, and so not necessarily outsmarting, but sometimes you might have to try something else to throw me off, and I feel comfortable with that. As far as infield, I think I'm going to be pretty consistent. I have to give a lot of credit to my Dodge City coach, Esteban Cardozo Kendo. If it weren't for him, I don't think I would be where I am infield wise. So
There you go. Zach, last year was a year that saw you guys start out the season taking 2 out of 4 from the #1 team in the nation. You took 2 out of 4 from West Texas, but you didn't make the playoffs. And I know that had to be maddening that you just couldn't get the wins against the other teams you needed.
Yeah, it was super frustrating. I thought we had a very talented team last year. Yeah, we can look back and think, oh, we should have had that. But I mean, it is what it is, and I think this year it feels a lot different. I mean, Jordan and I talk about it all the time whenever we're outside of baseball. This year just feels different. It really does. Different culture, different vibe. I mean, we have 18 seniors this year, and not a single one of them is just like, oh, senior year and whatever. No, they want to win, and it'd be pretty disappointing if we didn't go to playoffs for sure.
Well, Jordan, obviously, I imagine that Zach's been one of those guys that's taking you under his wing and shows the ropes. But who else on the team has helped you make the adjustment?
there's been a lot of people. I've gone along with some of the outfielders, the senior outfielders, Lucas Torelli and Tucker Gideon. They've definitely been there for me a lot, and Willie Ponce, the returning shortstop as well. I got really close with him pretty fast just because we bonded over the infield things and the little things. And I mean, I think everybody I can't just name one person because everybody's been there for me at a certain point in time. And I know that these seniors with different experience, they can provide things that I may not see that, it's always good to hear from somebody else because you can only get better. So I appreciate all of them.
Well, gentlemen, normally I talk to you about what you're majoring in and plans, but I've had so much fun talking baseball. We're out of time. So I'll simply say I wish you guys the best of luck. I started broadcasting baseball 29 years ago, and I'd like to see you guys take it to the next level in Lone Star Conference
Yes,
playoff.
sir. We would love for you to see that this year. Most definitely.
Well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment. So we'll close this out and we'll bring in two players from women's soccer right now. Welcome back to Sports Look, and a privilege to bring to the set of Sports Look two young ladies from Greyhound Women's Soccer. We've got Jaden Romo, we've got Louise Godden, and ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jaden, we'll start out with you. Where are you from, and what was the process that got you to Eastern to play soccer?
So I'm from Whittier, California, and I graduated high school in 2021. Eastern was actually a school I was looking at when I did graduate, but COVID, everything, just the lack of funds from schools, wasn't really quite ready to leave home yet, and so I decided to go to the JUCO. So I went to Fullerton Junior College for 2 years. And then I ended up transferring here my sophomore year. I transferred early, so I spent an extra spring here before we started the fall so I can get prepared. And Eastern was a school I was looking at because I had friends that had played here and I had heard good things about it. And also, it was good for my major because they offered me elementary education and special education. So I get a dual degree, so I can go either way. It was two majors that I was really choosing from, and it's just was really good that I could have both. in the same place.
Very good. Louise, we'll ask you the same question. I would judge by your accent that you're probably not from this part of the world. So where are you from
No,
and what
so
got you here?
I'm from London, England. Mine was a bit of a longer process. I had to go through an agency to get out here. When I was in college at home, one of the teachers worked for the agency and asked if I wanted to go on a tour to Florida, where they went around different schools and different levels of the soccer programs over here. So I toured NAIA schools, Division 1s, Division 2s, JUCOs. And I thought the best way for me to come out here and develop my career was to start at a JUCO. So I went to a JUCO in Iowa. I spent a year and a half there, and like Jaden, I transferred my spring season, and so I could prepare myself for this coming fall and get to know the girls, get to know the style of play. So
You went to Iowa Lakes Community College.
I did.
You and I actually have something in common because my sister went to Iowa Lakes Community College,
Yeah.
so I actually know where that place is. Jaden, we'll go back and we'll ask you, was soccer the only sport you played, or did you play other sports and gradually soccer became your best?
Growing up, it was really only soccer. I went through a phase where I didn't want to do anything. I did some cheerleading when I was little, and then when I was in middle school, I kind of tried everything: volleyball, basketball, soccer. But then once I went to high school, I got more serious about just soccer. And then at my JUCO, I did play lacrosse. So I played college lacrosse and college soccer at JUCO. That was super fun. That was different, but I really enjoyed it.
You know, it's really funny because you play lacrosse on the East Coast, you play lacrosse on the West Coast, and nobody in between plays that sport.
No, I was wanting to go to maybe a school that had the lacrosse team too, and I could try both. But I was like, I think I just need to focus on one. It was super fun at the JUCO level, but I don't think I could have done it at the NCAA level at all.
I got my PhD from UC San Diego, and they had a really good
we did. We
lacrosse
played
team.
their lacrosse team, and they were really good. They definitely, I think they beat us like 17-2. But it was still fun. We got to visit San Diego and have a good time, play lacrosse with my friends. So I liked it.
Well, Louise, the rest of the world calls it football. We call it soccer here. So was football your only sport growing up, or did you dabble in other sports?
I did try other sports, but it was mainly football. I started playing out when I was 4, but I was kind of in between. My parents let me like experiment other sports, so I did play. I did do horse riding, and I did do like some sort of dance, but that just wasn't my strong point. So it was always soccer from a young age. So
Very good.
I've been playing since I was very young.
And Jaden, you're currently a midfielder
Yes.
with Eastern. Was that always your position?
I think maybe when I was little, I played forward, but ever since I can remember, I was always a midfielder. It's always been my JUCO position everywhere. It's always been. I've been from attacking to defensive, but it's always been in the midfield.
And Louise, we'll ask you, what position has been your position?
So I currently play left back, but I can also play left forward. I've kind of played everywhere on the field. I started off my career as a goalkeeper. Wasn't for me. I knew that I wasn't going to grow much taller, and the older I got, the goals were going to get bigger. So I was like, this isn't for me. So I just started at the back, then went to the top, and I've slowly worked my way back.
But you know, it is funny that our goalkeeper is from England.
She is.
And she's 5'1".
Yes.
So,
You guys are right
Yes.
there.
so that could have been you,
Yeah.
but it's a lot better because you actually scored a goal for the Greyhound ladies on Saturday night, and you got a victory against UTPB.
Yes, we did. It was good.
And amazingly enough, we actually have highlights of that match, so we are going to cue up the highlight reel, and ladies, please walk us through it.
That's Sarah. She takes all of our free kicks. She's our center back and my roommate.
So Saturday, we'd had a lot of rain in Pertus. Was the field slick?
It was, and it was also pretty rainy during this game. The first half, there was a lot of mist, so the field was pretty slick. The ball was moving really fast, and I think that did affect the game in some way. Luckily, in our favor this game, though.
I'm curious. So how do you determine who does the throw-in?
It's typically the outside back, the right back or the left back, the defense. Just just so that there's more numbers up. If the left forward or the right forward throws it up, then there's nobody checking for the ball. So the left back or the right back tend to throw it in.
Occasionally it does change to our centre backs depending on who's playing the outside positions, depending on like the strength of the throw. But like Jaden said, typically the outside backs.
I always wondered about that.
Unless obviously you have a quick throw where your forwards can take it, then.
Luis's goal is a good ball by Megan.
First career goal as a
They just
as
quite
a
miss it,
Greyhound.
but you could see all of us celebrating on the sidelines.
Yes.
I love the energy.
So is she left-footed?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
am, yeah.
I was going to say that was pretty good.
They did have it on the stats though as a right-footed shot. I don't know if you saw that. They put it on the
did?
live stats. It said right-footed goal.
No,
by
it was a
Luis.
left-footed.
People were like, "Oh my gosh, you shot right." No, it was left. Foul.
And this is our centre back, Sophia, taking this free kick.
She was due for a goal, definitely, from the
Yeah.
free kick spot. She was getting so close. And she's a senior too, so it's her last time playing on that field. So I'm so happy she got a goal.
There we go. One last chance for UTPB here.
It was nice to give our seniors a win on their last home game.
Absolutely. And that pretty much guaranteed that you were going to get the W there. So for anybody who follows women's soccer, they know that the program kind of went through a little bit of turmoil. So talk about the transition to your new coach, Nona. What has that been like?
Coach Nona has been here the whole season, so the transition wasn't too different because she knew how we practiced, the style of play. So all the style, everything like that kind of stayed the same. It was just different, her voicing, because before we heard her, but we didn't hear her quite as much. So now that she took the lead, it was a lot different hearing it. And also from going from a male coach to a woman coach, I feel like sometimes the women coaches understand us a little bit more, how it is playing college sports, going through what we go through. So things like that.
And Louise, how has the change been from your perspective?
I think it was a good, it hasn't been a bad change. Like Jaden said, she very much understands us as female players. Sometimes the male coaches don't quite understand the emotion side of things because females can be very emotional. But, you know, hearing her voice on the sideline, always like encouraging us to do better. Like, it doesn't matter if we make a mistake. Like, she just knows that we're going to pick our heads up and go again.
And I was smiling as you were saying that because for 3 years I was the assistant women's basketball coach at UC San Diego, and I coached exclusively guys up until that point. So I live in a learning curve.
Yeah, it's different.
When you come to a school, Jaden, there's always at least one player that goes out of her way to kind of take you under her wing and help to show you the ropes. So who's been the player that's really been most important in helping you transition to life here at Eastern?
She's not here anymore, but she did go to this school. Her name is Emma. She was my roommate. She was a year older than me. And she really did help me. I came here and it was my first time away from home. I had never, and I'm so far from home. California is not just a drive away. She was from Canada, so she knew exactly how it was coming to a school where you can't just go home. And she really helped me just enjoy Eastern, find the things I liked about it, meet new friends, enjoy soccer. Recently, I went through double leg surgery because of soccer. I had something called compartment syndrome. And she was there every step of the way for me with my rehab, with me going on my walks, going on my runs when I could run again. So she definitely helped me recover mentally and emotionally, physically. So she was great, and I miss her so much.
That's astounding.
Yeah.
I never knew. Wow. Well, I'm very impressed at your determination to
Thank
be able
you.
to come back. So, Louise, who's been the player most instrumental in helping show you the ropes?
I'd say most of the seniors have been very much, very helpful. They were juniors at the time when I came in, but I was one of 2 transfers in the spring. So they very much took me under their wing, showed me the ropes of Portales, helped me settle in, made life a lot more easier for me. You know, being across the pond isn't easy. There's times where I want to be at home, but the girls just make everything worthwhile. When I'm having a down day, they pick me up, they take me out, we have fun. and then it kind of just makes me forget about everything that was going on. And yeah, so I'd say a lot of the seniors were.
Very good. Well, we've got about a minute left, so Jaden, real quickly, what are you majoring in and what do you hope to do?
I'm an elementary education, special education major with a minor in English as a second language. When I graduate, I plan to go back home and get my master's in special education. And then after that, I want to become either a kindergarten teacher or a special education teacher, just kind of whatever opens up for me first, whatever they need, I'll do.
And Louise?
I'm a HPE student. Mine's just see where it will take me. I have a lot of categories that I can go into, coaching, physio, so we'll see where it takes me, whether I stay here, go home.
There you go. Well, ladies, congratulations on getting the big win last home match, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up the interview portion of SportsLook. So what we'll do is we'll clear this out, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. Did you watch the football game Monday night? It was an awesome contest. It went into overtime before the Kansas City Chiefs pulled it out by 6 points. I don't know if you were aware of it or not, but there was something that was held in common by the two starting quarterbacks on the game on Monday night. You had Baker Mayfield and you had Patrick Mahomes. What do they have in common? They both went to Texas Tech University. Well, that will wrap up an overtime, and that will wrap up an episode of SportsLook. I'd like to thank my guests, Jordan and Zach from Greyhound Baseball. We had Jaden and Louise from Greyhound Women's Soccer. Had a floor crew once again, directed by Mr. Donovan. So, for all those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.